It does look like we're actually live now.
Okay.
Twitch hasn't quite caught up. There it is. Golden. Here we are.
Right on, right on. No longer hosting. I saw that message.
Yeah, we seem to be good to go.
Sweet. Hey, Sharky. There we go. Yep, we are live. We got the usual suspects coming in. There we go. I'm happy with this kind of starting color here. Let me do a quick little trick. I'm gonna screen grab my stream projection, and then that way I'll share it to the. Oop, just kidding. I'll share it to Facebook so people can see. Boom. All right, cool. Give me 1 second, and I'll share this out, and I'll share it to the Reaper group as well.
Awesome.
That way, hopefully, we get some more abos. I hope everybody's doing good today. HTTP twitch.tv/reaperminiatures. Boom. Cool. And then I'll share this out, and we'll be rocking and rolling. But yeah, we are working on the what was going to be my secret ReaperCon project for this year. But instead now it is our check it out project for this year. All right, boom, cool. All right, let me pull this chat up. I hope everybody's doing all right today. Let's see who's here. Chewy, what is up? All right. So I definitely need our ivory color here. All right. We are going to start building in the non-metallic metal on this. So you guys will see how I always end up doing this. We haven't done anything on stream like this at all so far, which is pretty cool. I think, at least. Actually, let's go ahead and do this whole area. There we go. Let's see, this would catch a bunch of light. Moved away from the... Oh, thank you. Moved away from the dragon just because all the finishing stuff that we have left on that I can't really do on camera. I figured you wouldn't want to watch me try and do like 4 claws out of green stuff for an hour. So I'm trying to save you some pain there. Hey Nomad. Oh, no Twitch notification. Very typical, as we're learning. It's like on Wednesdays, they just don't want people to know. So the idea is that I'm going to be building all this in with the ivory, and then we'll just tint it all, different tones, as we move through it. This is a shield from the Necropolis weapon pack from Warlord. The miniature itself is also converted. I chopped her head in half, like a good miniature painter. To add the pirate hat. The pirate hat, I messed up. I needed to clean some flash. That's why that's painted, not zenithal, because I had to paint back over it. Pirate hat is from the, I believe, Razig. Razig's Revenge weapon pack as well. Some good hats from that little weapon sprue get together. What's funny too is all the chains that were involved with that pack as well. I ended up using those for the Mind Flayer pirate that I'm going to end up painting as a specter, so that should be pretty dope. So he will look like a ghost. Speaking of Cthulhu-ish critters, I did watch that movie Underwater last night with Sydney, and it was like the worst thing we've seen in ages. So I can see why it had such terrible reviews, but yeah.
What is this?
It's pretty much... I mean, it's not good, so unless you really care about spoilers and you were specifically going to watch this movie, then plug your ears starting now. But essentially what it is, it's like a deep sea drilling operation, and all of a sudden, like, this huge undersea drill site starts collapsing, and they're like, oh my god, what's going on? And then it's like, oh my god, there's something in the water. And then at the very end, it's like, oh, it's literally Cthulhu and a bunch of Deep One critters destroying this drill site. And then it ends. It was just like, oh. Wow. Yeah, it was just like, all right, cool. What a great movie. So, yeah, Andre, it could have been a really fun movie, but they just kind of...
Was it at least like a good monster movie?
Not really, because so the whole thing to make it believable is that they had to hide everything. Like, everything is so obscured and water and silt and all that stuff, and it's super dark. I mean, there are a couple reveals of the monster that are pretty big, but it was just kind of like, It was more like people versus environment than it was people versus a monster, if that makes sense.
Oh, lame.
Yeah. And then after that, we watched Good Boys, and that was infinitely better.
Oh, God. Michaela and I watched that, I think, like, about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, dude.
And it was hilarious.
I loved it. Like, I forgot how far into the movie we were, and I was like, oh, now I literally get the title. They're literally good boys, and they're trying to be tough. What was funny, too, is I'm, like, telling Sydney, I'm like, dude, this is literally how it was at that age. Like, this is how all guys were. Like, it's just... Everybody's, like, faking it or pretending they know something, or, like, it was just such a funny movie. Did you see they announced a Star Wars movie with the guy from What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes, the YTD, what's his name?
Yeah, I don't think we talked about that last time.
No,
I know we did, but not on stream.
No, yeah, someone else mentioned it to me. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was Ann? No, I don't think it was Ann. Maybe it was someone in chat. I don't remember. But yeah, I had seen that. I haven't actually seen the announcement itself proper, so I don't know like what movie it is, if they even said what movie.
Right. They're redoing episode 1.
Really?
No, that'd be funny though.
I was about to be like, what?
They're gonna do the Christmas special, finally. George Lucas is like, delete this. So I hope you guys can see how I'm building in the reflection pattern here in the shield. We have that nice brown on top. We have that nice dark green on the bottom left. And then we have all of this sort of aqua blue, deep turquoise on the right as the undercolors. And I do kind of want a strong shadow. You know, my concept was that these guys aren't daywalkers, and possibly if I can figure it out to paint them all as if they are in moonlight. I've tried that once before with a semi-failed ReaperCon project from my first ReaperCon. It wasn't really semi-failed. It was just the effect didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to. So here we are, sort of attempting it again now that I've got a little bit more painting trick up my sleeve. But I do think it's a bit more possible than it was the first time I tried it.
Hey, Jacob, how you doing?
Oh, Jacob's in here.
D. Jacob James.
There we go. Very cool. Jacob, how does it feel to have all those people painting your miniature? It's gotta be a surreal experience. I'm actually gonna go back in here with some direct white before we tint anything further. I'm gonna go ahead and go down this edge proper with this color. Boom. There we go. All right. Because I don't want any reflection unless I choose to do... You have 7 armies? Oh, your army of miniature. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, sorry to hear about your daughter, Jacob. Hopefully she'll be okay. Alright, I'm going to go in with the white here. It shouldn't look too drastically different, but really I'm using the white to accentuate sort of the volume shape of this. So I'm using this to make this appear more circular. The other color that I was using was that creamy ivory. So while it is still pretty bright, it's not as bright as it could be, which is why I'm applying this color now. And then we'll tint it down and etc. back and forth. Everything's super bright right now just because that's how I need to build it in. Oh, that's rough. Any condition where you have to keep up with it a lot, I always would be nervous, even with myself. I mean, like, I always feel like I'm sick even if I forget my allergy medicine. So if I had something more serious to worry about, like, I definitely feel for you though. All right, I'm taking this color. I'm gonna go back onto the tongue here, but only in this sort of middle section like this. Alright, now then. Coming back in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these original colors we had previously and use it to glaze on top. Pollen or plague. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Peter. I did see your message today, and you're right, I was busy at the time, but I did see your message, and I appreciate it. So you can see what we're doing. I'm just going to start glazing and tinting. Now I've got more of a brown. I'm going to do that through this eye section here, and then go back to the sort of deep green. And then on this side, go back to the turquoise. Do I ever sleep? I definitely do. I only stream once a day. Typically. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more of that auburn shadow. I hope you can tell the sort of the color variation we're doing here. Put the auburn shadow.
I think it's called Josh the Machine.
Oh, yeah, right.
Turns out the content.
Yeah, I should have the June, the Desert Miniature Monday kit done probably within a day. I started them earlier this morning and I'm already halfway done. So you guys can expect to see those. That'll be a fun kit as well. I know you guys have already been purchasing the other kit. I don't know if it's sold out yet, but I saw that there were like less than 10 when I checked. I think yesterday? I think there were 8.
Yeah, it's actually because we sell out of them fairly quick enough, and I think the kit shop was already really busy. I would put a command in to link to it, but every time I go to do that, I don't think I've done that, and so someone has successfully clicked it, gone and purchased one because they sell out. So
right,
it seems pointless.
All gone. Well, there you go. It's good to know. There we go. All right. Definitely very happy with what we have going on here. Looks very, very cool. Whoop, there we go. All right, now I'm wondering if I should go in with a little bit. Yeah, I'll probably go back in with a little bit more of this color. I'm gonna accentuate the shadow under the cheek here. Do the same thing with this color on this side, just for kicks. There we go. All right, slowly going back in here. I'm gonna go with sort of a blue diluted color. As I start to build this back in. Let's get, do we get closer? Let's get closer.
Shield is legit.
Do what?
I said that shield is legit.
Oh, thank you. So really what I'm doing is trying to have this sort of weathered, tarnished look, while at the same time building in the highlights that we're looking for. Now I do need to wait around that section just because it's still wet, but I can do some work on this side. There we go. But, so what I'm hoping with this project is that we can do very unique color schemes for every single person, and then have something that sort of unifies and ties them all together. And I'm not sure what exactly that will be yet. They're all going to be undead. So the skin obviously can kind of be that director. So the skin will kind of determine what that uniform will be. And then I think what I mean by that mostly too is that the skin will then dictate like the shadow colors and the tones, and that will probably then shape how we do the rest of the work. But you know, they're all very crazy looking. They have like insane weaponry for the most part. And then like all the weapons were swapped. I did like as much conversion work as I possibly could on them. And then that way, you know, I can just do these like I want them all to be like, you know, unique individuals, because I would assume since they're immortal vampires, they can just amass these like weird personalities and riches and weapons and all that stuff, right? That would normally come along with a pirate, just times however long they've been alive. Stealing from the seas. But that at least was the concept. We'll see if it's stupid or not at some point. But I think it should turn out looking pretty cool. And the army itself is really insane. It's like incredibly strong, very small model count. All right, now I'm going to go with a kind of tanner color here. To go back in on the opposite side for highlighting. So I do need to make this swoop down a little bit further to match the other side, like this. The consistency of the paint, of course, is extremely diluted and thin. Can't have anything too pigmented, otherwise I will move too fast too soon. I don't want to cover up the color work that we have beneath. There's just a lot of moving parts to make sure I don't go too far too fast. But I'm gonna go with this color for a while. And then we're gonna go even brighter. There we go. All right. Now, and like I said too, I do need to figure out what color I want to do for any possible bottom lighting. I'm thinking it'll be like a lighter blue, or not lighter, but like a desaturated blue to simulate like ambient moonlight. But if I am going to go that route, we'll test it on the very last miniature that I need to paint, if that makes sense. So that way, if it does work, then we'll apply it on all of them. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't matter. We can just pretend that it never happened.
Bless you, Josh.
That's my roommate.
I know it is.
Yeah, I forgot to close the door. But everybody's allergies are really bad.
Oh, they are. I had, I think it was yesterday, I had an incredibly itchy right eye the entire day for no reason.
Ew. Yeah, my eyes twitch. They don't really get itchy. I just have like a really annoying twitch whenever there's bad like I don't know if it's pollen or whatever, but one of those things freaks me out. But I'm happy with the highlight structure I'm able to build in here. I'm thinking we're doing good. Okay. One thing too, right, I haven't gone very dark, and reason being I don't want to offset the contrast too crazy. Obviously I am going really bright with the highlight just for the metallic effect, but I haven't added any black or anything in like that. That would be a later stage once we've painted up more of the miniature itself before making those decisions. Alright. I'm gonna go back in a little bit darker here around this eye. Try and rebuild this shadow. There we go. How many of you in the chat were able to pick up the Miniature Monday kit for this month? Well, it was really cool. Yesterday, actually, I got one of my friends tagged me, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to see when I went to look for it, right? And what it was a store that does like a live stream to help sell their inventory. And they were literally right when I tuned in after being tagged, they were talking about and explaining the Miniature Monday kits. So that was really cool. I didn't even consider the fact that like retailers would be buying the kits and then have them in their stores. That was kind of cool. That's the first time I've seen a store other than the Reaper store. It was cool.
I agree. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it was funny. I was in the chat. I was like, "Hey, those are my kits," and they were like, "Oh, the guy's here. It's awesome." They weren't expecting the wild appearance. And then somebody bought one too, which is cool. Like if you're in the chat, you just put in whatever item number it was that you saw that you liked, and then they'll reach out and you can buy it and they ship it to you, which is cool. I think that's really smart for stores to be doing stuff like that because it gives you a broader audience, and then also people can just like ask questions. They can open stuff if they have to. It's an interesting concept I've seen kind of start recently. I think it used to be common with like comic books, because I used to see comic shops doing that with like older collections and either auctioning them off or just selling stuff regularly. Okay. So I like the top part here. I just need to restructure this cheek. I'm not particularly happy with this side. There we go. Whoop. Very cool. Yeah, if you ordered the May kit, you're not going to get it yet. Fastest, I would assume people would potentially start getting them, like, if you live in Texas, tomorrow. Because I've had some stuff shipped from Reaper in 2 days flat. And then just kind of add wherever else. But obviously shipping right now is really weird. Like, I had one package make its way to the Coppell distribution center, and then it stayed there for 2 full days. So, not from Reaper, just from a different purchase. But I do know that all that stuff is, like, completely a randomized gamble at this point because of the volume. All right. I feel like I need to bring this highlight down further, but let's see. I think I'll bring the inside edge and then this edge down much further by the tongue. Since we highlighted up the entire edge of the tongue there, I feel like I can go much further down without really... Okay. And then that would mean I need to highlight up sort of this interior portion on the cheek. Let's see. So I need like a... Very hard color matching, but that's kind of the trick whenever you... like this. There we go. That's the trick whenever you do a wash to sort of set off your, or start off your non-metallic metal. There we go. I need to start building it in that way. All right, cool. All right. See if I can hook this shape. There we go. Now go back to this color. And then reshape the cheek. There we go. Very happy. Okay. How many of you guys have messed around with non-metallic metal before? I know back when I was painting, it probably took me, man, I don't even know how many years before. I think it was when, I think it was probably whenever like confrontation was still really popular, was when I sort of delved more into it. But it's really not anything crazy. I mean, I feel like a lot more people should be attempting it than they are. But I know why it can be intimidating. I'm gonna have to mute myself here. I just want to see. Oh, it is muted. Okay, cool. Let's see. A gold wormling. That'll be cool. Yeah, I always suggest to people that are wanting to do non-metallic metal to not think of it as a metallic object at first and just paint it like anything else you typically would with your highlighting and your layering, etc. And because most of the time, right, depending on what you're doing, if you're painting a sword, right, it'll just be like anybody that looks at it will know it's a sword. Like there's no confusion there. And so it's kind of like you really have way more wiggle room than you think. I mean, obviously, a lot of people will look at like really, really pro work and it's all non-metallic metal and like competition pieces and whatever. And yeah, that is obviously a certain reality of that type of painting technique. But at the same time, like you can sell non-metallic metal with like 2 color applications and it can still be sloppy from the table. It'll look like a metallic object, right? That's something I always try and instill in people is like really, really do not be afraid to give it a shot because it will work a lot of the time when you think it wouldn't. I mean, even so like Brian, who actually the 6th was when I did my painting workshop last year in Oklahoma City. So I guess this is the 1-year anniversary since then. But he showed up to that workshop and he's one of my Patreon people. And I remember him immediately doing some non-metallic metal with like no guidance, just doing it right on the table. And I walk over, I'm like, this looks so amazing. And he was super self-conscious about it, which I thought was funny because it looked so good. And I think that that's kind of like, you know, a lot of people are probably in that same boat where like they're going to be super self-conscious about it, but it actually looks really nice. You should just give it a shot. And then if you are somebody that's really, really sort of nitpicky and scientific with your painting, you know, you can obviously go for that really realistic look or you can go for the more illustrative look, which is what I always enjoy to do. But I really like the effect we've got going on. We have like some kind of greens going on there. We've got some reddish reflections. I think it looks really cool. All right. Let me see if I can pull up. How would I show it? Oh, somebody had it pulled up. Okay. I'm not gonna waste time doing that. But I had all the photos from that event. I thought it'd be cool to show them. But we won't waste time. I'll keep working on the shield here.
Do a window capture if you wanted to.
I could do that. Oh, I think I actually have one already in my scene. Yeah, let me do that.
Which would make it, yeah, it could make it easy. As long as, you know, like I told Don, make sure you've hidden all the things that you don't necessarily want to be public.
Yeah. I've got my girdle orders on here, so I probably should not have those. I'm wondering where... How can let me see this. Oh, this is annoying. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. Let's see, where are we? Wow, so many shares. What is happening? What is going on? I'm looking at this post line to like find the album. Here it is. Okay. First Summer Atelier. All right. We are going to open this up there. Boop. All right. How do I... Alright, I don't have anything crazy here. Alright. So, display capture is right here. I'll just kind of go through these real quick. And that's definitely not the right button. There we go. So you can see right here, we had all these people fly in. We rented an Airbnb and had people in there, and it was really cool. That was the Layer Slayer. That was a airbrush tool that I never ended up releasing. Don't know why. I guess I just whatever. Never really happened, but that was something they could use to do some airbrush work. And everybody got like all kinds of different tools, a bunch of paints. Reaper sponsored the event, which was really cool. So everybody got like 12 paints and I believe like 12 miniatures as well. And it was $150 per person for a 3-night room and board. So that was really an amazing deal. And it sort of was like a proof of concept for doing that. Here you can see the power up palettes that I still sell. I was teaching everybody how to do that stuff really on day one. And then after teaching everybody how all those palettes worked and everything like that, they sort of went off then using those skills, working on their own miniatures, which you can see here. There's somebody working on Apex. I think that was actually my buddy James up in Tulsa. But yeah, we had a really, really fun time. It was definitely like, if you've ever done a painting class at like ReaperCon, just imagine that, but with just a group of people hanging out for 3 days and having a fun time in the summer. And I think it like rained every day or so. It was an interesting time. Oh, that's funny. So there's Brian doing the non-metallic metal I was just talking about. Yeah, we had a really fun time. Hopefully, at some point in the future, we can do another one. I'm sure at some point it's possible. But yeah, it was definitely a really fun time. That was a year ago today. My, how time flies. But let's see, let's pop that down. There we go. All right, so now I'm gently going back in with our white to push some of these highlights even further. But, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, in-person classes are always really, really good. And what's funny is, like, a lot of what I was ending up doing was just testing, like, the consistency of people's paint, troubleshooting problems they were having with certain techniques, right? Like, it isn't so much of... Out of those 3 days, I think I only painted myself, like, 20 minutes, which is obviously the complete opposite, from watching my paint-alongs and the Patreon and everything like that. And instead, it was really working with people hands-on and figuring out where they were struggling and what we could do to, make everything better for them. And it's just a different environment. Definitely really cool. And then, obviously with the COVID stuff and however the future looks with that, may or may not do it relatively soon, but I would like to do it again. I know everybody that was there wants to do it again. And for the price, it's just so affordable too, because you don't have to stay. You can opt to stay in a hotel. Some people did, but otherwise I think we had 8 people there. And we had people fly in. I mean, Peter was there, who's in the chat. I forget. I don't know if anybody else was there, but in the world of fewer in-person events, obviously things will have to adapt. But I'm in no rush. I don't know if you guys saw either, but I am moving by the 15th. I know I posted that on my page for those that are interested in any of that info. Not necessarily a happy story, but not necessarily like a tragedy. Oop, look at this hair. We got Arthur. Dying it, Arthur. Oh yeah, I forgot Peter was late because his flight was delayed, I believe. I forget exactly. I forget exactly what happened. I feel like he didn't miss much though, because he already... At the very beginning, I wanted more of just like a skills assessment for everybody, and he was already on the Patreon, so I feel like I didn't miss much with him being gone at the very beginning, because I've seen his work before. I think that's probably why I forgot about it, because I'm like, yeah, well, I already deal with you enough, Peter. There we go. That's nice. Alright, so I need to match this brightness here. It can be hard to pull off because of the shape that I'm doing. It's like half a spear. I need it to pick up on the corner, but not overpower it on the corner of the cheek. So this is going to be an area that I have to keep working on. Now this side is great. This side, a little bit different. So here's the difference, right, in the direction of the light. You notice how this cheek edge is dark and this cheek edge is light? That's because one's picking up that reflection and the other one isn't. So it's kind of up to me to figure out where to place everything correctly to make sure it looks good. If I wasn't as concerned with it, I'd be happy right now with it, right? Like, cool, whatever. But I just want this to really be saturated and have like a very distinct separation of the layering and the highlighting. For no critical reason, other than just doing it. Hey, Trashorama. 10-month sub. 10-month sub alert. The 10-month sub club. Remember, you guys can always subscribe to for free using your Amazon Prime account. Click that subscribe button up at the top and help support all the fun shows Reaper's doing. Which also includes, right, like anything they're doing. So the cool D&D stuff they're doing with Nightheart. Anything else that pops up on the feed, you know that your support goes a long way. Or just buy the Miniature Monday kits, and that will also be a clear indicator that that's going well. There we go. Now then, the question is, you know, what I'm thinking is that her shield is really dark and dingy like this, but then the rest of her clothing is clearly not, but it's also going to have to tie in to the same vibe. So I'm wondering how to pull that off. That's like the next thing in my head that I'm sort of calculating here, right? Is like, all right, well, I have a very obvious level of saturation and highlight, and then what do I do to kind of translate that across? It isn't Monday though. Are you saying why am I here if it's not Monday? I've been streaming on Wednesdays for over a month and a half, I believe. But I'm glad you're here. The secret bonus Monday streams. No dragon this time around though. We're done dragging the dragon. We were gonna attempt to work on it one more time, but everything that I need to do is all up close work, so it doesn't really make sense because I can't do half of it on camera anyway. But we'll show it off. Of course, whenever it's done. The March 2020 set. Which one was March? I think March was... I'm wondering... What was March? January, February, March. So March was the Underdark kit with the Spider Demoness. I think... Oh, March was the Yeti and the Crystal. Very cool. The Crystal Golem. And see, now I'm not happy with this level of lighting. Hold on, we gotta do some editing here. I'm not... There we go. I need to get some color in. Right at the crook of the eye there. Oh, wait, January was... What was it? I think it was the... It's the Underdark, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you, Sharky. Are you guys excited to see the desert theme? If you joined late, I was already talking about that earlier. I should have that completed tomorrow. Now, whether or not those photos actually get taken tomorrow, right? Everything's in the air since I am moving, but all that stuff will be done far ahead of time. There shouldn't be a delay this time around. So I want to push this color in right at this highlight edge, and then again, kind of up top there. I'm going to push it in a little bit more. So it's interesting, right? This brow line that I have painted here doesn't actually exist on the sculpt. So this is freehand on top to help increase the contrast and everything. Let's see, we're gonna back that up and look at it from far awaysies. So this looks really nice. I do need to continue on down the side of that cheek to highlight it up, of course. But very pleased with the, let's see, level of contrast. Yeah, very cool. February with the Yeti because I bought it since March was out. Aha, aha, aha. Yeah, I feel like the most I've seen of people completing the kits is probably that kit. That one, and then the, I guess the Underdark kit too. I've seen more of that. I have seen a lot of Panthers in the wild from last month, which is cool. So I suppose a lot of people liked that one. And I know people were very excited about the Forest kit. What did we... Oh, we did the Fairy. That's right. I was forgetting which one we'd actually done previously. I've already forgotten. It was only 2 days ago. Justin, what's happening? How am I forgetting?
It's a blur, man.
I know, right? Alright, I'm gonna get much more of this color down here. Yeah, it's hard to think. It's hard to imagine that we're already finishing the kits for this quarter already. Like, I feel like it literally blew... But, I mean, it's all the COVID stuff, obviously. But I just feel like it was... We're like, all right, cool, we're ready to rock and roll. And then it was just a nightmare. Like, what happened? We're already done. All right. Where else should we layer in some more? I think we should do a little bit more right here, right up underneath the tear duct. I'm just going to try and get as much color in this shield as I can. Very cool. I know a lot of people as well went and got the stuff from Gregory over at, or not a lot of people, but I know some people did. They ordered the vellum plants to give those a shot themselves. What's funny is he actually sent me a message maybe a day or two ago, and he was using the same method that I used. He hadn't tried it before, of applying the vellum plants using green stuff, because you can like push the plants into them to shape them. And he said that is his new favorite way of doing it. So that's really, really awesome. But I feel like with painting products, like it really is kind of one of those things where you can only imagine like what to do with the painting product so much until you see other people play with it too, because that's where the creativity part of painting comes in and the hobby. I'm sure people that invented UV resin or like Bondic weren't imagining a bunch of modelers to start using it. So it's always just kind of like throwing something out there and seeing what happens. So now I'm going to throw in some of this royal purple, similar to the intense color that we have with the auburn shadow there. I'm going to be applying the runic purple in the shadows, or the royal purple, sorry, wherever I have the sort of turquoise tinted metal. Mostly because turquoise is sort of green, complementary color to any kind of green, right? Purple works really well for that. So with that in mind, that is the color combo we're going to go for. Deeper into the shadows here. You can see me applying it pretty much pure pigment right there. I just kind of want to separate out that entire part of the face. And then we'll taper it with just water on the brush, gently pushing at a 45-degree angle and bringing it up underneath the cheekbone and then down the side of the face. Easy peasy. But I do think that the shield is looking good. We need to go way redder. All right, I now know our next plan of attack. Instead of highlighting up the edge of the shield here, I'm going to use our Auburn Shadow to do the edge work rather than highlight it. So we're going to build that up, and I feel like that will really bring the whole thing together. And if it doesn't, guess what? Who cares? We'll just nuke it and start over. Here we go. This is exactly this is perfect, actually. This is way better than a highlight. That really works. Very, very pleased. Bringing that down the side of the shield really offsets the green. I need to add a little bit more of this color too, right here. There we go. What should we do back beneath the tongue? Because there's definitely a recess right there. And I'm thinking maybe we go, I don't know, the red? Let's see. We'll put this in here and darken it, but we need to put something in there because it just doesn't sit well. Yeah, there we go. So we'll put that in there. And then on this, from this angle, we'll do the purple. Okay, cool. So that means over here, up underneath, we gotta use our red like that a little bit more. Okay, cool. Grab the purple up underneath here, and then way down this side. I have to rotate her upside down and backwards, guys. All right, look how crazy and just weird it looks from this angle. There's like nothing. There's no definition. Weird color. Funny how that always plays out. And then you rotate it and you're like, oh, okay. Now I see what's happening. So I'm gonna go back into the grooves with this guy. Further down the shield we get. There we are. But I hope y'all are doing good today. Those that are joining late. I'm actually going to, so this was the turquoise. All right. I need to glaze over this area because this transition's too harsh. So we're just gonna layer a little bit on top and let that dry, and then I'll go back on top. Yeah, you can assume that everything as a part of this project is gonna have equal amount of crazy color. That was the one thing Justin requested. He said, can you just do crazy stuff with color?
I did say that. And it's because it's awesome. I think lots of people like to see it. It's one thing that I think is unique to the show.
And I said, you want crazy color? I can probably do that. Wallaby wallaby. Here we go. Let's do this. You know, I'm very tempted to go ahead and just do the entire. Okay, I haven't planned. I went through like 5 things in my head there at once, and none of them made sense to me as I was halfway parsing them. Alright, so I need this as a glaze color, and I want to put it right here. I need more green. I need a little bit more green up here. A little bit more green up here. Okay. And I need more green on the interior portion of the brow right here. Just like that, glazing it in. And then I need more of this color. There we go. Now that I've tinted that back down, we'll re-highlight it up. And then we'll just call it, what? Yeah, we're right about an hour. That's pretty cool. I feel like we had a little bit more viewers than we did last time. But always about the same.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Wednesdays are just a little bit slower. Not mentally, of course. We know you're all quick-witted geniuses. Quick, what's 9 times 84? Do it in the chat. You have 4 seconds to beat the delay. Let's go. All right, nobody beat the delay. Well, I take my statement back. You know, I do love all of you, but I think you proved that we're not all the sharpest math tools in the shed.
Never mind.
And were you about to throw a number out there?
I think it's 8:31.
That's so funny. Math is hard. See, I'm there with Brad. We're painters, not mathematicians. That's hilarious. You know what I feel like we're missing here? Just don't... No, we're not going to say it out loud, but this is what we're missing.
Oh, here it is.
This is the dead bottle. This is the one that barely has anything left. All right, we're going to use this to glaze some calore. All right, very carefully here. There it is. Now you can't see it yet. I really only want this color to be right in the center of the brow area. There it is. Now you see it on camera. That is sick, right? Throwing in a little bit of that green. Yes. Throw a little bit right here. A little bit right there. Oh, it's all coming together. You know what's amazing is one time somebody in person told me that my non-metallic metal was trash, and I love it. I love it. I love doing stuff like this. If this means it looks bad, then I'm gonna do it bad all day, every day. See, I'm gonna put a little bit on the tongue. I'm gonna put some right here. And there we go, tinting in our phthalo. 9 times wet, that's funny. Well, it was at a competition, and they just didn't agree with the result that I got. But your statement is true. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more right here. Go down the side. Like so. I'm gonna go down the other side here. I'm using like a really weird palette, sort of grayed out purple to do this highlighting. And remember, I had chosen to wait to do the highlighting down this edge until I knew kind of the whole story of the shield in terms of the color work we were doing. This makes sense. For now, at least, it makes sense. Man, too bad there's no clear phthalo purple. We need to start hounding Sadie to see if that's something she can make exist. It would have to be like a neon or like fluorescent purple tied in with some kind of medium, like whatever the phthalo medium is. So I'm going to push this purple right up underneath the cheek, right up underneath the eyebrow. Right there, and put it over here. Right next to the phthalo green, of course, because that will make it super, super complementary. Show up way more. There we are. Yoink. Okay, we'll clean up this eye. The eye is definitely kind of derpy right now. Yoink. All right. And I'll clean up the cheek, and then we'll call it a Delio. See, I need to do the interior portion of the eyelid, interior portion of the cheek right here. Sweeping cheek highlight. Sweeping cheek highlight. Top of the cheek. Yeah, there we go. There's your bingo. And you just need to keep increasing it right here at the top. So I'm just stippling it in. And then right underneath the eyelid on this side, I'm going to go ahead and highlight up. You can see I'm actually building in that shape. That shape doesn't really exist there, but cool. Let me look at this from far away. Oh, this thing looks absolutely insane. It's funny when you're here. I'll back it up so you can get the same vibe I just picked up. Look at that. The color on it is just insane. I'm very pleased, actually. In terms of personal painting here, this is probably the coolest metal combination I've gotten so far. Very pleased with it. Hopefully I can ruin the rest of the miniatures. This is the only fun part. But all right, guys. Well, big thanks to everybody that was on the Patreon for this month as well. Obviously, since I am moving, we will be rescheduling and figuring out how to handle all of that stuff. I will be able to do Miniature Monday for all of them. I feel like I'm not going to miss any of that. The only thing that we may end up missing is a Wednesday stream, or we may move that temporarily while I am moving to maybe switch me over to a morning or something if you guys really want to see me work on this stuff further. But beyond that, make sure you follow the Facebook page if you haven't, kind of keep up to date with everything I've got going on. Mini Painting Studio on Facebook, and then check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Mini Painting Studio. And then, of course, big thank you to everybody that has been also using the Amazon link as a way to help me out right now. And you can check that out at amazon.com/shop/Mini Painting Studio, or you can, I think there's a command in the chat that people can use as well. But what have you got for us in closing housekeeping, Justin?
Let's see. Nothing special. Remember, Sadie's show is canceled tomorrow, so we have Anne's show in the morning, and then we have Reaper Live at its standard 6 p.m. Central Time.
Awesome.
I think that's it.
Sweet. Alrighty. Well, are we rating somebody today?
Yes, we are. Let's see here.
Thanks, World Edit. I hope you all have a really awesome rest of your day. And week. I won't see you, so unless I am streaming at some point the rest of the week, I'm not sure yet.
So I'm curious, are you a body art fan?
It's a thing people do.
Borderlands fan?
Oh, somebody's doing some Borderlands stuff.
So yeah, a big friend of the channel who we've rated a couple of times, and she rates. In fact, I believe she subscribes and watches all of our VODs. Was exactly what she said.
Oh wow.
She doesn't catch us live, but she is. Her energy is only paralleled by Mocha's at this point. They're two most highest energy people I've ever seen on Twitch.
Okay. Sweet.
But anyway, I noticed she is doing an all-day Lilith from Borderlands body paint, so I figured we could, check it out.
Awesome. Then yeah, make sure you guys give her the Reaper hype and the Reaper love, and then I'll catch you when I catch you next. As I keep messing with the shield.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this this badass shield that we did today. I think that Josh did today. And,
Justin was here in moral support.
Yeah. No, I made sure the stream went live. That's what I did. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you're new, especially don't forget to hit the follow button. Subscribe, obviously, if you like to subscribe. We do all kinds of shows during the week, and check out our VODs if you want to see more about what we do. But thank you guys very much. Keep being awesome. Spread the Reaper love. And I think that's pretty much it. Josh, you have anything extra to tune in with?
That's pretty much it.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys. We will see you tomorrow morning for Anne's show. See ya.
See ya.